Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Quick housekeeping. If you guys hear some weird music in the background, I am on a 2-hour wait with customer service with my airline because this is the second trip in a row that my luggage is missing, you guys. So I'm not happy. They claim that my luggage is here, but it's not. So it's just a whole thing. But nonetheless, we are convening today because it appears that Carlos King has responded to Dr. Heavenly's departure from Messy Mondays, right? And so he posted the following. He posted in his Instagram stories, y'all be in competition with people that God sent to be on your team with a frown face, and also says, I remember when I wanted what I currently have. I am grateful. And of course, his proverbial, daily tweet from the pastor in which he does not live by anything that the pastor says, but wants to invoke God whenever it is time to be the victim, you guys. And here's the thing. The reason why I think this is about Dr. Heavenly is because who else would it be, right? He did the same thing, when Mel realized who the puppet master was, when Mel realized that he did not have her best interest as well. This is the same MO that takes place. Instead of Carlos King taking any accountability, he goes in on the attack and blames somebody else and makes it as though somebody else is the issue, somebody else is responsible for anything bad that happens, anything that goes south that happens. It's always somebody else. He never is the one to, take a step back and assess, maybe I'm taking things too far, maybe I'm doing too much, maybe this isn't the right road, maybe we're going down, as Portia says, the wrong road, right? But instead, it's everyone else's fault. Now, allegedly Dr. Heavenly's in competition with him. Now, allegedly, Mel, she's ungrateful for the opportunity Carlos King provided her, and all of these things, you guys. And never does Carlos King ever get out there and say, you know what? I did too much. You know what? I overstepped. You know what? I took this relationship, this friendship, this partnership, whatever, for granted. Instead, it's their fault. Instead, they should be grateful for me. They should be thankful for my connections. They should be thankful for my opportunity. Here's the thing, Carlos King. Dr. Heavenly was popping before you, right? You have nothing to do with Married to Medicine. So nonetheless, Dr. Heavenly will be fine without you, and she was fine before you, right? Just like she was fine before Funky Dineva, right? But it's the audacity, right? Because here's the problem. I don't know how many of you have watched the Marquez interview on Messy Mondays, and I know some of you don't want to give the views to Carlos King, and that's totally understandable, right? But nonetheless, you could just see on Dr. Heavenly's face. Now, I know I've gone in on her for always caping for the black man, even if it's problematic, even if he's a cheater and an ABUSCR. She's like, oh, as long as nothing's happened to me, they're all right with me. But in this instance, where she was hearing Marquez's point of view, she was hearing how his kids are being manipulated and convinced to speak against their father on a false narrative, trying to make it seem as though, there's no contact at all, there's no relationship at all, that Ken has completely overtaken all of Marquez's responsibilities as a father, and he's trying to explain, listen, I'm in my scenes with Marceau, I'm in my scenes with Trisha and everything else, and I am trying to speak my piece, and it's being edited out. And next thing you know, Carlos King, he's interjecting, he's getting pissed off. Oh, this is about my integrity. We don't edit anything on the show. Nothing is fake, nothing is scripted, blah, 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 blah. But you never say the same thing whenever it is Martel or it is, Marceau or Martel that say the exact same thing. And my thing is, you know, why is it you pick and choose, right? That if it's somebody that you like, especially if it's a man, if it's somebody you like or you crush on or whatever, or who's willing to get down and dirty with production and do the messiness, you don't care what they say. You don't care if they call your show fake. You don't care if they say everybody's actors. You don't care if they dare you, Carlos King, to fire them on the spot. You do not do anything. You claim you'll address it at a later date. It never gets addressed. Or in a roundabout way, you claim, oh, you care about the show, you care about the authenticity, but you don't go in. But if it's anybody else in particular you don't like, in particular black women, in particular black men who do not play the game that you want them to play, which is, hey, we're going to go along with whatever false narrative to give the clicks and views, to give the ultimate ratings. Now all of a sudden you have to sun them. Now all of a sudden you have to put them in check. Now all of a sudden you have to cut them off, and you have to keep asking the same questions in 10 different ways until you get the response that you want, that fuels the false narrative you want out there to the people. And the whole purpose of an interview is for somebody to have the freedom to say their piece, to speak their side. Listen, everybody is wrong in the situation, and nobody that is on reality TV is the, you know, picture of perfection, right? But when you're going out of your way to blatantly put something completely wrong out there to fuel the, you know, deadbeat dad nonsense, to fuel, you know, that, you know, Trisha and Ken, they're this beautiful love story as if she's still not legally married, you know, whenever this entanglement began, and allegedly the Martell thing may have happened and may have been the catalyst to Marquez leaving, but nobody wants to talk about that, right? Nobody wants to talk about the details as to what actually the issue is hand. Instead, we have to romanticize Ken and Trisha being together, even though Trisha herself is telling us partial stories and lies about dates and timelines in every episode. And now the climax is going to be this girls' trip where it's basically going to be revealed in front of Mel that there's some sort of a history between Trisha and Martell. And everybody's like, ooh and ah, ooh, what's Mel going to say? What's Mel going to do? And Mel doesn't give him the satisfaction and leaves the table. Because she divorced Martell over 4 years ago, you guys. She left him over 4 years ago for good. She is aware that there was more than just the 10-year side chick, right? She is very much aware of that, right? But nonetheless, what is this gotcha moment that everybody is looking for going to do now? So you're just going to bring every single woman that has a link to Martell in the past while he was married to Mel, you're just going to bring them on the show in hopes to humiliate Mel, and there's not going to be consequences, there's not going to be repercussions, there's not going to be backlash? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. But nonetheless, you know, this is where we are. This is exactly where we are, you guys. And it's unfortunate. It truly is unfortunate that Carlos King doesn't see that his actions have gone too far. The show is too dark. And you, once again, when you need a mulligan, when you need the show to be revamped and back to, you know, its glory, back to getting ratings, back to getting support from Mel fans and Mel supporters and Mellometers and everything else, then all of a sudden, you know, you're like, hey, I need you to put together this event. We're going to film it for the show. I need X, Y, and Z to take place. I need you to make sure, you know, X, Y, and Z is happening, right? I need you to be the first guest of my podcast. I need you to do the first interviews anytime the show is about to come back, because you're the face of the show. You're our Nene Leakes of Love and Marriage Huntsville. But as the show is going on, as there is real life situations happening, real life convictions of DV harassment in the 3rd degree, you are protecting the problematic people. You are hiding their truths on the show and making everything someone else's fault. And so Marquez sees through the BS.
He sees through, you know, the lies and the scam and the manipulation that was taking place in this interview. And he said, not on my watch. And Dr. Heavenly saw that Marquez was telling the truth. And Dr. Heavenly would know better than anybody the pros and cons of reality TV, especially behind the scenes. And how far you're willing to go with production to, you know, sell a story, even if it's completely fabricated. And so Dr. Heavenly saw firsthand, and remember I told you she literally just did a live a couple days prior regarding the whole TGIF saga and exposing Al Reynolds again, and said that, you know, Carlos King and Dr. Heavenly, they do all pre-recorded shows now. She prefers to go live, which is important because it basically means there's things that she's being said that's being edited out, or things in these interviews that are being edited out that vindicates that person and exposes Carlos King. And furthermore, Dr. Heavenly exposed that we already know that this new interviewing approach that Carlos King is trying to be like Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, which is letting anybody say anything, whether it is true or false. But the problem with that, like I said with the Funky Dineva interview, is it creates backlash. It creates backlash, and then all of a sudden, people want to respond. People want to give their piece. People want to tell their side. And it doesn't go the way that you think it will. But I think Dr. Heavenly said, let me get off now. Let me get off the ship now while I still have my sanity, while I still don't get too much hate from the people, and let me abandon ship. And Carlos King, instead of self-reflection, instead of saying, you know what, maybe I need to change my approach. Maybe this approach to reality TV that I have been doing all these years, I need to adapt and I need to change course, because just selling any type of lie for a storyline, for clicks and views on the show is not working anymore, especially when you have people that are actively exposing the truth. And the truth that's not being aired on the show, which is why people aren't tuning in, Carlos King. But don't blame Dr. Heavenly, don't blame Mel for, you know, realizing the person who you are. Even Bravo has decided to make changes. The moment that the allegations came out against Andy Cohen, well, I should say the moment the former melanemic housewives made claims against Andy Cohen, now all of a sudden Bravo is doing a whole overhaul, right? And they're making sure all of their shows are with the utmost authenticity now, you guys. And they're keeping certain drama to a minimum. Do you see how that works? But OWN, instead of OWN taking the same approach, they're deciding, you know what we're going to do is we're just going to delete scenes, allegedly, right? We're still going to protect the culprits as long as the show can remain on the air. We're going to do whatever it takes to protect the problematic people, because they're still giving us drama. They're still giving us content, right? But what Dr. Heavenly did is, again, everybody wants to talk about, oh, Mel loses all her friends. No. We know a lot of that's fabricated, and we know a lot of that is, these are Martel's friends, not Mel's friends, right? In the case of Carlos King, in the case of his good friend Tamar Braxton, you guys are the common denominator. You guys are the ones that enjoy the mess, enjoy the trolling, enjoying all of the problematic things that can be said and done against somebody. And as long as you're still riding the high life and being successful, you could care less. But the moment the spotlight is on you, now it's time to play victim. Now it's everyone else's fault. Now, you know, they're ungrateful and everything else. And now all of a sudden everybody's a backstabber, except for you have fanned the flame with these false narratives. So there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.